Okay, welcome back to Bounce Around Charleston. I have with me now Stanfield Gray with Dig South, and he's going to tell us about the Dig South Tech Summit. Stanfield, welcome to Bounce Around Charleston.
Thank you, Randolph. It's so good to be here and see everyone today.
Okay, the Dig South Tech Summit. What is that event all about?
So Dig South Tech Summit is where leading global brands, think about Oracle, Citrix, and Amazon, meet the South's most scalable startups. Companies like Interloop, DoxyMe in Charleston, Uncommon Giving, and Terminus in Atlanta. So we host a summit where companies come from all across the region, connect with each other to find three main things: contacts, content, and capital. The things they need to grow their companies and succeed the American South. So the contacts, that's the network. That's our Dig Nation member network. The content are the panels and discussions we have on emerging technology, digital marketing, business growth, cryptocurrency, health tech, all kinds of great topics. And then the capital opportunities, some people are there to sell their products. Other people are there to raise, financing. They're looking for angel investors, venture capitalists, private equity, groups at all different levels to help find funding.
Well, Stanfield, with the pandemic, this should be a major situation at this time because everyone is doing things in a digital way. Am I correct?
You are absolutely correct. It's the timing is perfect. And we were nervous about bringing back an in-person event when we booked this back in the spring, not knowing what things would look like. But many people have been vaccinated and are more comfortable with in person, but we're also streaming the event. So if someone isn't comfortable, they can view it remotely. It will be held July 28th through the 30th at Satilli Theater at College of Charleston. And so, you mentioned that the pandemic in particular, Tim Manahan, who's the CMO of Citrix, a tech company, he's going to discuss the where, who, and how of hybrid work. So as we're emerging from the pandemic, what does that new work model look like? What is the office of the future? Is it part-time in a space, part-time at home? He's going to encourage all the companies there to rethink the aspects of how they operate and to address that workforce and what people may be comfortable with after an entire year of being kind of locked away or working remotely.
And what made you bring it to Charleston?
So I grew up in South Carolina, and in the 90s, when I graduated from college, if you wanted to work at a technology company or you wanted to scale, a company of any size, it was very difficult in the state. You often had to go to Boston or New York or Silicon Valley to raise funding, to find the talent and things you needed to scale, nationally or globally. And so fast forward to 9 years ago now, I went to the Ad Age Digital Conference in New York, and I went to South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. And I thought, well, why don't we have an event like this in the Southeast where people can come together, find those same resources, and grow a company right here at home? If you live in Charleston or Charlotte or Atlanta or Raleigh, Durham, you should be able to grow and scale a company there without always having to, think, oh, I've got to move or relocate or do something outside the region. And then I started having kids. And so that often, changes the thinking, I think, of a lot of folks. And I thought, well, maybe, over time, 10, 20 years, we can contribute to something that when our kids graduate from college, they can stay, here at home or within the region at least and grow a company right here. So that gave me the inspiration.
Well, tell me something. First of all, I want to know who's invited to attend the summit and if a person needs to be tech savvy.
So they do not have to be tech savvy. Many people often attend who are entrepreneurs that are what I would call tech enabled. So they're using social media platforms. They're using apps on their smartphone. They might be using something like Salesforce or, various CRMs. And they're thinking through, I need to learn more about how technology can help my business grow, how I can function in a higher capacity, be more efficient. So that is a portion of our audience that attend. I would say the bulk of the attendees, though, come from companies that usually have 25 to 250 employees, in that range, what we often call growth stage and mid-market companies. And they're coming there to hire talent, to raise, funds, to learn more about their business, how they can function better in that job. And then we have another group that are investors or law firms that support trademark, intellectual property, things like that, some accounting firms and groups that provide services to those tech companies as they grow and scale. So that's the primary audience, I would say.
Well, I do know that with the pandemic and us going back into the churches, a lot of the churches, like I'm an AME, and we've been told we can no longer use hymn books, bulletins, announcement letters. So everything is going to be on a technological scale with the screens and the monitors and the smart screens. So would you recommend that officers from churches come to this event?
Absolutely. Anybody who's interested in learning how to use technology to help them in their personal or professional life could learn something at Dig South. They could find takeaways about how to maybe use iPads in a better capacity, how to improve their video streaming content, how to think about how to present themselves, remotely to engage their audience. Those are all tips and things that we discuss at Dig South, and you can find out more about. And some people may be, thinking about fintech, so, or financial technology. So they may want to think about, okay, well, how can I, convert that collection plate, for example, into an online offering where somebody might be able to give remotely and feel comfortable with that? Or how can we raise funds and resources for disadvantaged folks who may be in a pickle and they need some assistance? And then we have companies like Uncommon Giving and Blackballed who work closely with nonprofits and churches and other organizations to help them improve their technology offerings.
Okay, so tell us where this event will be held, date and time.
Great. So the first thing to do is visit digsouthtechsummit.com. Think of dig as digital south, digsouthtechsummit.com. And there you can find the agenda and all the offerings. We'll be live in person July 28th through the 30th at Satilli Theater at the College of Charleston. And so that's downtown Charleston on the peninsula. It's, beautiful summertime venue. And the opening night event on July 28th will be at the College of Charleston President's House, President Shu's residence. So, we're excited to welcome everyone. Anybody who works in technology or would like their business to be more tech enabled is welcome to attend.
Okay, so they will need to register for this event. Am I correct?
That's right. And our model is a little bit different. When we sell a badge or people register, they actually join as a member. And that badge is good for the full year. So they can maintain their profile. They can continue to engage with our audience of other members. They can, post blogs. They can post events. They can post job resumes, job offerings. So there's a lot of benefits to Dig South throughout the entire year. It's not just the one event by any means.
Well, Stanfield Gray, we thank you for being on Bounce Around Charleston and sharing the information about the Dig South Tech Summit.
I appreciate that, Randolph. Thank you very much for having me on the show. And it's an honor to be on Bounce Around Charleston. And thanks to Leah for inviting me as well.
Okay, you take care of yourself, and I'm hoping that the event is very successful.
Fantastic. Thank you. Great to see you.
Well, you heard it right here on Bounce Around Charleston. Those of you that need to learn more, you need to register for this event. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break.